Hi guys, this is Ben from Project Spartan. Now I am making this video to just run through um, the nutrition side of things and just to get a foundation structure laid out for you to start you off on the program. Now, as I was going through last night, through the nutrition side of things, everyone is unique in their genetic structure. Obviously, with weight, body fat, and as I spoke about yesterday, your let me just get this up. Okay, so yeah, so obviously in terms of your genetic structure as well, with your mesomorph, which is naturally more of a muscular physique, to your endomorph, which naturally puts on fat a lot easier, to your ectomorph, which struggles to build muscle, but also burns fat really quickly. So the nutritional approach is obviously going to be different for each. Now, the idea of the program is to get lean and add muscle. So this isn't a mass building program specifically. So there won't be an extreme hard gainer ectomorphs on the program because that's not what it's gained for. But it is a case of lowering your body fat and gaining some muscle. But it's something to keep in mind because metabolically everyone is slightly unique. So in terms of ectomorph, endomorphs, and mesomorphs, a mesomorph would look at more of I mean, all of this is based on health anyway. So although everyone's unique, our goal is to aim towards health, to lose that body fat. So your mesomorph would naturally put on muscle quite easily. So we look at some carb cycling protocols. An endomorph has got slow metabolism, so obviously we'd look at body fat and then gradually start to cycle carbs independent on body fat. And then your ectomorph is going to consume more nutrient dense food, so it's basically going to consume a lot more calories and a lot more food generally. So it just gives you a starting point to go from there, just to bear these things in mind as we go through, because there's a lot of differentiating factors to keep in mind. So in terms of protein consumption, which is always the ultimate question which everyone asks, how much protein should I consume? What is commonly believed or has been banded around is this idea of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now that's quite a lot of protein for your average person to consume. You know, because if you're taking my weight, I'm around about 100 and I think 75 pounds. So you know that's a fair amount of protein to consume. If you're thinking of one meal, you're looking at around about 20 to 30 grams of protein. So you know that's going to be a good 4 meals and some protein shakes as well, or some sort of protein supplements as well, because you know consuming that amount of food. So your body can only consume, can only actually take on board and actually use a certain amount of protein anyway, looking at obviously your energy expenditure for the day. So I would look at a bit less than that. I mean, sometimes you can get away with 0.5, I'd say around about 0.5 to 0.75, but again, I don't really want to focus too much on this to begin with, guys. I just want you to create some good habits and just get used to structuring your meals in. So that's really the reason of this first video, is to say to you that to not make it very complicated. Now breakfast, that later on I'll go through, you know, if you're really struggling to have breakfast, then you could continue that fast to a little bit later in the day, so you consume your first meal around 12. But let's start off with the idea of eating breakfast, just to get into some habits. So obviously it depends if you're going to train first thing or not. If you were going to train first thing in the morning, then say you were going to come to Spartan camp, I would train fasted. Obviously it's early, it's very early anyway, so I train fasted with no food. And then post workout I would have a Sun Warrior shake would be good. That's when you could have your sugar and some natural sugars like from a banana. So post workout be a good time for that, for like a Sun Warrior shake. First meal of the day, again, it really depends on what you would like to eat and want to eat, as opposed to what would be the perfect nutrition plan. Obviously, a good quality organic meat and some nuts is seen as boosting testosterone. So this type of breakfast could be an option. Although meat is still quite acidic, so having some veg first thing, some organic green veg would be fantastic. Are you going to eat that? If you do, great. So you could have a good quality either lean meat, or sometimes you could go for like a red meat with the iron, and again that's going to help increase your testosterone. So a breakfast that I have quite a lot is I have a few more than that. I put 4 to 5 duck eggs there with some asparagus. I literally make scrambled egg and put the asparagus in with it. Or you could have like a 4 to 5 egg pancake, 2 bananas with some cinnamon. Having cinnamon on any kind of pancake stops the insulin spike from the sugars, the natural sugars from the bananas. So cinnamon's like a little secret weapon you can use. This is just another option as well, in case you fancy something different. As I said, I want you guys to enjoy this. So you could even have like a nut-based cereal. Obviously your nuts are your good fats, and they help with suppressing your appetite as well. So I like to use nut butters in between meals sometimes. So you could have a nut-based cereal. Just for example, if you got some cashew nuts, some almonds, I'm trying to think, even some walnuts, and just mix them, if you crush them all up in a blender, and have them with some, you could have some dried fruit. Wouldn't be ideal for fat loss, but you could have some dried fruit, and then have them in a bowl with some coconut or hemp milk. And then onto lunch options. So quinoa is actually a seed. It's quite similar to a grain. Just make sure with the quinoa that you wash it first. If you don't wash it, it don't taste great. I've made that mistake before. So quinoa is a really good protein source. Again, it's not a grain, so it's a lot more easily digestible. Some good fats with some avocado. You could have some bacon, and then some wild salmon or wild fish is great. A lot of the salmon that you get at the supermarkets is farm salmon, so it's caught in nets and it's fed pellets, and I think they're like soy, or anyway, it's not their natural diet. So now another low GI carb source is like a sweet potato, with perhaps chicken, steak salad, something like that. So sweet potatoes are good to use. I find, compared to the starchier potatoes, that they don't tend to give me that slump in energy throughout the day. Moving on to dinner options. So you've got your 3 meals there as a structure. And again, some of this depends on the type of work you're doing. I know a few of you mentioned about having manual labour jobs and being fairly active during the day. So that's another thing to bear in mind. I mean, in an ideal world, keep a food diary of results, before and after pictures, measurements, body fat, which I'll go on to tell you about in a second, how to calculate that, and really find out what works for you and works in your lifestyle. So dinner, again, we're looking at your proteins, your veg, carb sources, quinoa, and sweet potato would be good options. There's a chicken pizza, which is good in the book. Another thing you can do, guys, is make bases, like pizza bases, from ground almonds, which I think I refer to as almond flour, which you might struggle to get. So yeah, you could even make bases and bread from ground almonds, so you've got your good fats again. It's another good way to get fats into your diet. So hopefully that has helped you. Later on, we'll go on to the specifics of calculating, sorry, figuring out your fat-free mass, and understanding your own lean body mass, because that's going to have an effect as well. Your lean body mass, and knowing what that is, and the amount of calories that you have, because everyone is unique. But again, I don't really, to begin with, like to focus on the specifics. I'd rather you just get into some habits and me give you a structure to start off with, and then we can take things from there. So I've gone through the dimmer options. Monkfish is a really nice fish to try. It's a bit more of a meaty fish. I eat that quite a lot. That's fantastic. Now, another thing we haven't really touched upon, or I didn't mention in the seminar particularly, was greens juicing. Now, juicing is an awesome way to get nutrients in from your green leafy veg, which is very good for lowering estrogen and detoxifying the liver. So greens juice like spinach, kale, broccoli. Trying to think what else I put in there before, but even that is a good start. There's a Jason Vale book that I refer a lot of people to, which has got some excellent juices in. So yeah, that's another thing to bear in mind. Now, throughout the day, if you get tired, or I mean, to begin with, on a liver detox, you're going to have some withdrawals anyway. But cutting out, like we went through last night, you know, you're going to be cutting back on the caffeine, ideally the alcohol, sugary food. So you might get a slump for that first week, and you're not going to feel great, but stick on in there. In terms of snacks, now I'm a big fan of Sun Warrior, so let me get Sun Warrior up. Okay. Okay, so Sun Warrior is the protein source that I use. As I said, it's a raw vegan protein. Have a little, go onto the website and have a look through. I mean, obviously it's still their marketing, but if you go to the product info, don't change that packaging. Yeah, this is the one that I usually get, which is the chocolate protein. Just want to find the, yeah, so basically it's non-GMO, gluten-free, soy-free. Soy is just a cheap protein that they use a lot. It's dairy-free. Just want to find the nutritional breakdown. So yeah, so if you look at the ingredients, very little stuff in there. I mean, there's very little proprietary blend, raw organic. This is pea protein, raw cranberry protein, raw organic hemp seed protein. They got hemp seed in there. 20 grams of protein. So again, you could add, if you could have 2 shakes a day, you're adding about 40 grams of protein, and that would be easily digestible as well. 19 grams. Actually, is that on there? Anyway, you're looking at around about 17 to 20 grams of protein for each shake. So, and another thing with the Warrior, the Sun Warrior, is you can actually make bars out of it. I saw a recipe. So, I think Sun Warrior, again, with most proteins, but this is one of the best ones. It's around about £40. Probably last you about a month if you have a, say, 1 shake post-workout after training, and then you might have another one. I sometimes have 2 throughout the day. Obviously, your training days, you're using up more energy as well. Compared to your rest days, so you're going to need to take on more protein on the training days ideally. So yeah, Sun Warrior is a great one. There's also Sun Warrior, which I'll be getting as well, is there's a greens drink. So if you're not consuming enough greens or eating enough organic veg, then yeah, I think this is going to be a great option too. Alfalfa leaf, organic barley grass, organic wheatgrass, peppermint. Yes. So it's flavoured with stevia, which is like from the bark of a tree, which is natural sweetener compared to a lot of the supplement companies use sucralose, which I'm not a huge fan of. So yeah, there's a green drink. So there's a green drink from somewhere and a protein drink. So you could use both of them, and then you can make some protein bars with them. I think there's a recipe. I'll post underneath, but I think there's a recipe as well. Somewhere. Somewhere. Protein bar. I don't know if they actually make them there. Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is just this is the recipe. Yeah, so it's just basically saying that most protein bars are filled with artificial sugars. So these would be superb. Yeah, I mean obviously these are going to have oats, which is a grain. Oats obviously a grain. I mean post-workout, no problem. As you get leaner, no problem. Depends on your gut health and your sensitivity to grains. But yeah, I think these would be great. I mean you don't necessarily have to have them as oats. This has got oats, almond seeds. It's got the chocolate protein. This has got nut butters. So yeah, that looks great. So I think that would be a good option as well. Nut butters, as I showed you guys last night, is a good option as a snack as well. So any kind of nuts, handful of nuts. Yeah, post-workout, that's a somewhere shaped blueberries, banana. Could have some live yogurt, some bio yogurt. That's got more naturally occurring bacterias in it than. I mean, again, it depends if you're lactose intolerant as well and how well you stomach milk. Most people don't digest it very well at all. So, but if you are going to have any dairy products, then live yogurt would be a better option to have. And things like dark chocolate. I mean, obviously, chocolate these days is filled with sugar and additives, and they water down the actual content of chocolate. So an 85% dark chocolate would be great. Naked bars are quite good as well as a snack, so that gives you some options there. But as I said, guys, you fit it in how best suits you. So this will give you a starting point. I'll upload this into the group. I hope that has helped you. Any questions, let me know.